the lost tombs of the Valley of the Kings, built by the ancient Egyptian pharaohs and later discovered in 1922. It is one of Egypt's most popular tourist spots, and today we're about to explore it. While on our way, first we visited the Colosseum of Memnon, and as you can see, there are two statues in sitting position. It is said that this was the place where the mortuary temple of Amenhotep III used to exist, and these statues were for guarding the mortuary. Some say that these statues sing or whistle in the dawn, but scientists confirm that the sound happens due to the heat wave in the dawn. It was said to be built around 1350 BC. After snapping some pictures there, we headed towards the Valley of the Kings through the desert land of Egypt. Once we are there, I realized that there are a lot of tourist buses and a lot of cars as well. So that means a lot of tourists visit this place every day, and that's why it's one of Egypt's most popular tourist spots. So before entering, we had to go through a path where there was a beautiful market, and they were selling a lot of traditional Egyptian clothes, Egyptian statues, and a lot more. Once we got in, we saw a 3D model of the area and a picture describing all the tombs. So our guide uncle here was explaining the picture for us. We had to get a carriage to go to the area, although we could have walked there. But as I said in a previous video, my sister was injured, so we had to take the carriage. So I really enjoyed the view around, as it was my first time going to the Valley of the Kings, and the desert around was really beautiful, because in Bangladesh we don't often get to see the desert. And I was just so curious that when will I reach the area. We could only choose 3 tombs with 1 ticket, so we had to choose wisely. Our guide suggested us some, and we went there. There are said to be around 62 tombs in this area. These tombs were said to be built to store the dead bodies and mummies of the ancient pharaohs. There are 2 parts of this area. In one of the parts, the bodies of rich people and influential kings were stored, and in other parts, the bodies of the commoners were stored. Well, then you might ask that what's the difference between a pyramid and this tomb? Well, actually, these tombs were made after the pyramid. At one stage, the kings of Egypt wanted a safer place for their body to be stored, so instead of building pyramids on the ground, they decided to keep their body underground in those tombs. And the hieroglyphics on the walls show what will happen after their death, and also the process of their mummification and building these tombs. They thought that after the pharaoh's death and after the mummification process, the pharaoh will ride a boat into his afterlife. So they used to store all the necessary things in these tombs, which were often robbed by other people in the upcoming days. Then eventually these got hidden under the ground. due to sand and dust in Egypt. The best example was the tomb of Tutankhamen. So this is considered to be one of the Valley of the Kings' most precious tombs. Although unfortunately I couldn't go in. Once we went there, I thought there will be some ventilation or even an AC in the tombs, but no. Unfortunately, there wasn't any. So, the more deeper went down, the more suffocating it was getting. And since there's a lot of heat in Egypt, I was sweating like crazy, and I tried to get out as soon as possible. Plus, there were a lot of tourists in these tombs as they were all really curious about what's inside. So, the area just got more suffocating. And for that reason, my sister and my mother couldn't go any longer after two tombs. So, me and my father continued the rest of the journey. So, it seems like this area isn't a good place to visit for patients and people with problems in leg. These paintings on the walls look so simple at first glance, but these actually describe the story of the king and what will happen to him in his afterlife. And the local people there know them very well. These paintings and hieroglyphics were literally in every tomb, while in some of the well-preserved ones, these were really fresh and it looked like they were painted only a few years ago. There were coffins in every tomb at the end, and maybe the mummies inside were shifted to the Egyptian museum because there were no mummies inside. But some of those coffins were really huge. So visiting the Valley of the Kings was one of my main aims after coming to Egypt after the Great Pyramids of Giza, and today the dream finally came true. I was really happy to be able to visit it, and now it's time to go back. I really enjoyed my trip, but the only problem was the suffocating in the Valley of the Kings tombs. But other than that, everything else was really enjoyable. So that's it from today. I hope you all enjoyed. Before leaving, here are some pictures I took in those areas. So have a nice day and Assalamu alaikum. Next, I'll be visiting the Luxor temple. Stay tuned.